Well, hello everybody, and this is Auntie, and we are here to do our review of Married at First Sight, season 19, episode 8 through 10. Oh my goodness. This show is a hot mess express. I hear that there are rumors that most of these couples stayed together. And y'all know, looking at these episodes, I'm asking myself, why? A sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers, and my nieces and nephews, and all of y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for Auntie to rise. Sweet old. It's time for Auntie to rise. Oh, yeah. It's time for Auntie to rise. So, y'all, this is Married at First Sight, season 19, episodes 8 through 10. We're going to get in here and then we're going to get up out of this camp because this is a mess, y'all. Like seriously, y'all, this is a mess. It's a mess. Rhonda is insufferable. Like, and Josh's mask is completely slipping. I have been saying this about George from day A, that he is always pushing Jalen into doing something that he wants Jalen to do. And now she has gotten tired of it. The honeymoon is over, boo. And she's tired of it and she's putting her foot down. And he is just trying to gaslight her and manipulate her in every way humanly possible, in my opinion. Hey there, Yazelle. Hi, sweetie pie. Hey, G Debo 3. Hello there, sugar. Hey, sugar, sugar. Hey, sugar, sugar. Okay. So y'all, I'm gonna get in here. I did my notes and stuff like that. As y'all can see, I'm always having one of my phones and do all my notes and stuff like that. Hello there, Jasmine Johnson. Hey, sweetie. So what I wrote down. So I'm gonna just go over my notes real quick. I'm gonna give a little bit of, of my opinion in between. Y'all make sure y'all do the same thing downtown in the comment section, which is why I go live so that y'all can have interaction with one another and stuff like that. So look, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead on and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that like button, right? And you can hit the like button because Ray Della gonna get y'all if y'all don't. Okay, I think Ray Della gonna start fining y'all. Okay, for not hitting that thumbs up button. I think she got that joint on speed dial. She got that on copy and paste. Love Ray Della. Okay, so anyway, hey boo, you been waiting? Okay, I'm here. All right. How many people are waiting on me to do 90 Day Fiance and feel like y'all are missing something in y'all life because I'm not doing it? Y'all go ahead on and tell me the truth, okay? Hey JW. Hey boo boo. Hey boo boo. So Rhonda and Pat, this is their 1 month anniversary, right? Their month anniversary. Hey Golden 502. Hello, sweetie. So this is their month anniversary. So each one of the couples are doing something different for their month anniversary. So I wrote Rhonda and Pat, they are looking at space launch videos. And I think that was a mistake. Now, Rhonda is calling herself compromising with Pat, right? He gonna have to pay for this. When I saw her being saying that this was something that she wasn't interested in, but that she was doing it for him, I was like, this is the worst thing he could have ever asked her to do. Okay. I'm just like, why would he even ask her to do something like this, right? Because she gonna hold it over his head and he gonna have an IOU for the rest of his life. Okay. But anyway. So Jalen and Josh go skydiving. He said that she had been talking about that she wanted to go skydiving, and she was like, I was just talking about it. It wasn't something serious. Now, this man does not listen to his wife. He is not in tune with Jalen at all. And after a while, this she gonna get old. And I already been saying that, okay, because what he's trying to make her do is do the things that he wants to do, but he's not listening to her when she says, I'm not adventurous like that. Now, if you all have been following me since last year, I did a video on my channel, a couple of videos on my channel where I was trying to, overcome some of my fears. One of the things that I did was I camped. Right, I did glamping by myself. Another one was I went fishing. Another one I went horseback riding. Right, but I'm not that adventurous girl. But these are things that I think that I want to do in my mind. But just because I think I want to do this in my mind, and I may bring up that this is something that I want to do, don't mean I want to do it. Now, he has gone skydiving multiple times. He is one of those guys who live for the thrill, right? You got different people who like different things in their life. They may like, some people love traveling. They make all of their money and they spend all their money traveling. Some people like arts and crafts and stuff like that. But for her, she just wants to live a very simple life, go to work, do what she got to do, and have a little bit of fun on the side. For him, he's adventurous, want to jump out of airplanes and all that other kind of bull crap. When he took her up where did he take her? He took her on some type of safari thing where monkeys was all up. Like he always got her doing some stuff. And after a while, she's going to get tired of it. And I kept saying, she's eventually going to get tired of it. Will and Brittany go to meet a wrestling legend by the name of Mark Henry. She said that she has always loved wrestling and stuff like that. So it just shows that, Will was listening finally to what Brittany had to say. And so, Britt thinks that they're on a good path. And every time she thinks they're on a good path, he does something or says something to get up, okay? Will says that he thinks thugs are good, but they can change in time. Brittany says that with that response, she says she don't think that she is Will's person. Hey, Akia, hi, boo. I hope I said your name right, so let me just bring it up on the screen. How you doing, beautiful? Welcome to the live. So Brittany says that, based on his response, that she just don't think that she's Will's person. She isn't. I think that's so obvious that she is not Will. This girl has been miserable the whole entire time. Will don't listen. Will's one of those kind of guys. Okay, I'll wait till I get there. Britt says that she don't think that she said, I don't think I'm your person. And he said that's not fair. Will says that it's not fair. And Britt says you don't feel things like I do. And so Will was like, so you saying I don't have any feelings? She said, no, I said you don't feel things like I do. Those are two different things, and this is smart enough to know that, okay? And so she said the thing she says, I just want you to give me validation. She just wants to be validated by him. Girl, you got to validate yourself. That's the mistake. You don't need someone on the outside of your own mind to validate you. Validation starts right up in here and right here. I don't need nobody to validate me and telling me that I love a good confirmation. I like encouragement, but at the same time, I don't need nobody to validate me. I ain't got that to do. So Derek is excited. They're going over to Megan's parents' house. He said that he really likes the mother, the mom and the dad. And so they sit around and they start talking. It was boring. Chad brings roses. He talks about a destinating wedding. And Belinda starts talking about that she didn't know how difficult it was for her to change her name and all that kind of stuff, right? So we're back down at Josh and them house, right? And so Josh, okay, y'all, I'm sorry. I didn't even bring the people up on the screen. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me bring them up on the screen for people who are not that familiar with them. Okay? Okay. There we go. So Josh and Jalen are at home, and they are doing their vows over. They have an opportunity to do that, right? And so Jalen is like, I could just sit down, I can rattle this off, put some things on the paper. It don't have to be a lot. Josh is making a big deal out of this. Like, this is the most complicated thing that he has to do. Like, he is taking the bar exam. Like, he's got to, he's getting his PhD. He's got to write a paper. Like, what the is going on? All he has to do, they got the vows in front of them. They read over the vows, and then you just change it a little bit based on how you feel after a month. He's saying that he can't do it. Josh said that he thinks it's silly, right? And so she was like, "Are you serious?" He said, "I think that's a." She said, "I think that's a little dramatic, and that's definitely a totally different side of him that I've seen." She said, "I think it's one thing for him to, for one thing for him that he did not want to continue with the writing, and he still doesn't want me to read them out loud and to get it. But then it's just like I just like okay." She said, but so they get into an argument, and she's talking to him about, just show up for this, this particular writing session. Just show up. Just, do what I need you to do. Do what they have already asked us to do, right? And so she's saying that's just like, with me. I was hesitant about going out with you. Wait a minute, where did she go? Hold on. She said, I just like I didn't want to go skydiving. She said, but to prove that I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone and I can't get you to write out a word, I don't went in a plane, jumped out of the plane for you, and I can't get you to write a few words down on a sheet of paper. Now, this is when his mask started falling. But for me, the mask has been falling because all of the activities, even when they were on a catarama or whatever you call it, and she didn't want to jump in the water. And he was like, when is the next time you're going to be in Panama and be able to jump off? Like, everything is a challenge to her. Everything she has to do, and she's been doing it. But I knew that was going to wear her out, because at the end of the day, you got to be like what Maya Angelou said. You got to be true to yourself. You can't do something to make somebody else happy. If I don't want to jump off the boat, I'm not jumping off the boat. It just is what it is. And it's okay to walk into your woman girl stuff, into your big girl drawers, and say, this is something I don't want to do. So anyway, she says, he says, I'm just kind of like, she said that she's having this crazy realization right now. She said, are you starting to feel a different way? Because he was pissed. He was angry. Angry. Now we come back to Will. Will says he loves Britt and does things with his mind and not his heart, because the two of them are still going through issues. Brittany is extremely, hey Nathan, how are you? Hey sweetie pie. So they're still going through the things that they're going through because Brittany is very insecure. Brittany's love language has to be communication and words of affirmation. Will's is not. Will's is quality time, touching, and all of that bull crap. But he only does it in an apologetic way to win you back. There's nothing that so Will will say everything he needs to say, right? So, and in my opinion, this is my opinion, it's extremely abusive, because it always keeps you on edge and wanting to continue to please Will. And so Will is the type of person who withholds affection, withholds care and concern until he break you down. Then once he break you down, now he wants to touch on you. Pastor Calvin saw that as, when they had their little thing, and we're gonna talk about that. They see that as, well, he's not saying how he feels about something, but he's pulling you in. No, that. You need to take care of me and love me the way that I need to be loved, not the way that you love. You cannot sit there and talk to me like I'm a piece of trash, ignore me, withhold affection, care, and concern, and then draw me into you. Like, this is just yo-yo behavior. It's narcissistic. It's gaslighting. And in my opinion, it is absolutely, this is my opinion. Y'all let me know. Y'all downtown. He is absolutely gaslighting this girl. You can look in his eyes when he switches on and off. Ain't nobody got time for that. No, don't touch me after you broke me down. After you've made me feel like I'm nothing. After you've talked to me out of with your teeth. He's almost talks to her and he's gritting his teeth when he says something. He's extremely sarcastic and narcissistic. And if he don't like women, just say it. With his pink shirt, 2 earring wearing ass. But anyway, let me keep going. So, I'm just like, okay. Absolutely, he don't. Let's go back. So now we back with Jalen and Josh. Jalen and Josh are having a whole a time. She said that she does not like being the center of attention, and but no, he says he doesn't. She says that she doesn't like being the center of attention. They could have talked about the situation that's going on, right? And I'm just like, whatever. The next couple that we want to talk about is Rhonda and Rhonda and what you call them celebrating this stuff, right? Rhonda is just, is just not ready to be married. Rhonda likes her freedom. She likes to do what she do. She's like me. Like, I'm gonna deal with you while I deal with you. I don't know if she's ever been tested, as far as being an introvert, extrovert, like a Myers Briggs, those type of tests. I've taken so many psychological tests in my line of work. And it was not until I was maybe 24, 25 that I started taking tests, right? Like I said, because of the line of work that I did, as far as being a manager, a team leader, and all of that kind of stuff. And I realized I'm extremely introverted, right? I have an extroverted side of me, but for the most part, I'm an introvert, and I'm not just an introvert extrovert, right? Like people say, oh, you introverted extrovert. No, I'm on the extreme side of being an introvert. I don't have to hang around my friends for months. When I'm around crowds, I'm uncomfortable for the most part, unless, I've really worked on myself. And it takes me time to work on myself. So when I was in relationships and was living with partners, right, I would find myself isolating myself, being irritated like Rhonda. Um, it was an extreme as hers, right? I will let you share your damn story. But okay, thank you, Karen. That's so encouraging. That's so encouraging. Thank you. Thank you. That's what we need to do as content creators. We should draw you into the point where you say, I'm gonna have to watch this show now, okay? But anyway, so she is just, she's an introvert. And she probably needs to have a test done or five so that you can score yourself against different questions and different rating systems, which is what I needed to do. Because the first time it came out, and I know we ain't talking about me, but we talking about me. The first time I ever took a test and it had me in the eyes, I was like, wait a minute, what the, right? Because I was bubbly, I sing, I'm in the arts, all that kind of stuff, right? But that was my creative side because I'm a creative. However, in my real personal life, I am introverted. I can sit down with a book. I can be with myself all day, all day, all day. I don't have to be with you. I don't have to be around anybody. And I noticed that when I would get around people and be in large crowds, I would be agitated or paranoid or, that type of thing, right? But when I'm on, I'm on. When I'm off, I'm off. And all I want to do is just be alone. And you can say something because sometimes I find myself snapping at my daughter. She'll want to be having a conversation, but my mind is so into what I am into. I have to watch my tone. And I think that that's where she is. I'm just like, okay, all right, thank you, boo. Thank you. Y'all, thank y'all for the encouragement. Sometimes it's content creators. You need to know that, that y'all that your people with you. Thank you, y'all. So she is with Chad and they, and she is with him and they celebrating, like I said, and it's just, things just not going well. They just not going well at all. Um, Only Chad and Josh are the ones who have said that they, oh no, girl, don't you do that. Hold on, y'all. This about to delete my stuff. Wait a minute. Okay. So Rhonda and Pat are having a conversation. Pat is just getting, he says that he is getting a test from Rhonda. And he's getting a test of who she is. He said she's a little bit different. And Rhonda was having a discussion with him. She started getting very emotional about it. She said it seems like it's inconsequential, like continuing the pattern. So she said she just feels like we just got to get back to where we were a month ago. And it is because every time Rhonda says something right, Rhonda wants Pat to freeze and let her talk. What I notice about Rhonda is that Rhonda is not showing that same concern and interest in Patrick. Even though, which is what I said earlier, she sat and watched the space program with him, the space launches and stuff, because that's what he does. He's about to retire, but that's what he does. It was an IOU. She didn't do it because she genuinely wanted to do it with him, to spend time with him, to get to know him. She did it because I got some things that I want you to do. And we know what that was. That was going to her father's gravesite. And even when they were driving to the gravesite and he was saying things to her, she was talking and sharing. If he says anything, right? She gets upset and says, you didn't listen to me. You're not concerned. You're just listening to respond. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to listen to your person and respond. And if you have something that you are like-minded on, or you have a story that you want to share about that, you should be able to do that without being judged and without being condemned to hell for doing so. And so she just really wants this to be all about her. And right now, she is wearing Pat down. I would be like, okay, I just cannot do this. I can't do this with her. She got tears in her eyes and all of this kind of stuff. And child, please. So Josh, let's go back to Josh. So Josh wants to hang out with his friends and stuff like that, right? And he had a situation happen that he had not. Okay, so it says Josh hung out with his friends. We have a situation happen, but we had a lot to talk about about social media and what it looks like for your partner to access, and what does it look like to be unfollowing his girlfriend on Instagram. Now they had done a exercise with Dr. Pia where they had their backs to each other and they were supposed to, walk forward if they agreed or stand still if they did not agree on the subject matter. The two of them kept walking forward like they were in sync about everything. You automatically know that if you are in sync with everything with your partner, your relationship is fake because somebody's compromising too much. During this conversation, they had brought up the concept or the idea of, do we continue to follow our ex-boyfriends or girlfriends on social media? Jalen immediately said, I do not follow any of my exes on social media. It blurs the line. George said, I do follow my old girlfriend, but I'm going to stop. A whole lie. A whole lie. But he knew it was a lie when it came out of his mouth. He knew it was a lie when it came out of his mouth, so he done got busted. That he's still following the girl. What did I write down? Jalen said, I asked him about what access looked like. And he was like, I unfollowed her on Instagram. And then Jalen said, I was just like, did you? And I felt like immediately I could tell that something was off, and it started to become very evident that he did not stop following that on Instagram. Why would you lie about something that is verifiable? I never understand that about stupid people. So at we're in the next episode 9, where they're talking about getting more together. Of course, the experts in sex toys. Fast forward through all of that because I think that that's personal. I don't have anything to do with it. Belinda feels like Chad is her. Well, let me bring up Belinda. Belinda feels like Chad is her safe space. She actually feels like Chad cuddles her and really just makes her feel safe. Jalen and Josh now are back. They are frustrated that she said that we're frustrated that we're at this point because he lied about communicating with me about the girlfriend. She said, and that's a big fat ass red flag for me for sure. So she was like, so we here to confront the truth as we're getting closer to approaching decision day. We want to make sure that we get everything worked out, whatever the case issues might be in the way that everything, let's just clear it up because I need reassurance. She said, we need to understand what's going on. So he says, I'll start with, he says, so basically you came down to asking if do I still follow my ex on social media? And I basically panicked and said that I had unfollowed her when I hadn't. So that put a little bit of inner trust, that broke our inner trust. And I think just to clarify, she was like, "What I think to clarify when you've been cheated on in the past, it's very it's very quick to say, oh my God, like oh my gosh, it could happen to me again." And she said it's just frustrating because it wasn't a necessary lie. It wasn't necessary for you to tell that fucking lie. And y'all know when y'all be with somebody and you in a relationship, committed relationship, whether it's your friendships or whatever, and people tell you unnecessary lies, it's almost like you playing in my face. Um, it's like you playing in my face, and you're doing something because you think a certain way about me. Cause he said he panicked. Like, what are you panicking for? If you knew you weren't going to stop, if you knew you was going to continue to follow the girl. But you don't have to lie, Craig. You ain't got a lie to kick it. Like, you just don't have to lie to kick it. And he's a liar. His mask is slipping. Nobody is as perfect as George. The first time I figured that George was telling a lie when he came up at directly after the wedding and said something about a post knock. I said, George lying. Just say you don't trust me. You in new money. You grew up with nothing and now you got money. Your money is funny. And you think that, if we don't work out, you don't want me to come get your. Just be truthful. I have always said that if I was to get married with the assets that I have now, there's no way I would marry somebody without a prenup. Because I have a child that I need to leave my stuff to. I need to make sure my child is okay. So we are definitely doing a prenup, a mid-nup, and a post-nup. It just is what it is. Now, if you feel like that's an insult to you, then okay. We don't have to get married. We can just screw, live our lives. We can still travel together. We can still do all the things. We can do all the things of the things. But if you don't sign a prenup with me, where with what you came in with is yours, and if what I came in is mine, we good. That should be understood. When you get to be a certain age and an old heifer like me, you have assets. Maybe in your 20s, you didn't have assets and you built everything with the man. But when you're a woman of my age, you got assets and things that you have to take care of. You have children that you want to leave an inheritance to. And if I'm at this age and I'm hooking up with you, my expectation is that you got some too that you don't that you want to lead to your kids if you have kids. Like, what? It's only a negative if you make it a negative. I think that it's positive for people who have assets and children. I know some people ain't gonna like it, but it's okay. She said, I just feel like it was unnecessary and hurting me, right? It's hurting me. She said, I'm struggling, obviously with the marriage, so I can work but I want to work things out. And so anyway, they bring Dr. P in. Um, Dr. Pierce said she's seen the red flags. She said, please forget about it. You're a married woman. You've made a different level of commitment. So recognizing what does that trust look like? What do you need to do to feel like there's a repair where you can start to work on trusting him and not having that hypervigilance from past experience bleeding into how you were looking at the situation, and for you to have the understanding of this is my wife and I know that this behavior is going to trigger her. So you know what, cut this out, Josh. I disagree with Dr. P. Dr. P was saying that your past hurts things that will trigger you, because sometimes your past hurts are lessons that you have learned, and they are not only things that you have learned about how you have been treated, but there are also things that you learn about how I want to be treated. And I think that sometimes you don't always learn the lessons in your life through the good times. You learn them through the hurt and the bad times as well. George is full of shit. He knew he was not going to talk about it, and she is seeing these red signs. She is absolutely questioning George. George couldn't even write vowels. She said, if you write the vowels, okay, VOWS, if you write these vowels, then just do a 5-minute one. It don't have to be nothing long and drawn out. Just do. He was unable to do that. And then he became the victim in that. Now here it is. He hadn't talked to the old girlfriend and he told me he worried about her like I and then Dr. Pierre tells her, you can't live in that. No, you need to continue to bring those things with you, right? That have helped you to understand yourself and understand your boundaries, what you will tolerate and what you won't tolerate. Excuse me. Sometimes it's learned through hard lessons. Dr. P tells her if you're going to truly forgive him, that means that you're going to release him from judgment. I'm sorry, Dr. Calvin said that. It doesn't mean you're going to forget it, but it just means that you're not going to hold this over his head. No, I'm gonna hold this over his motherfucking head. I'm gonna hold this over his head as a reminder to him for right now. It won't be something that I'll be dwelling on, throwing up in his face every minute, but I'm going to hold him to accountability and being responsible to tell the truth always. You don't have to lie to kick it. You just don't. So she says, I just think I'm frustrated because it feels like I've already been doing nothing but laying out the groundwork of him being able to be open. And I didn't like it. I feel like lies. I feel like so many other things that have happened. So now I can't tell when this motherfucker is lying and when he's telling the truth. That is so fair. I'm sorry, that's just fair. I'm sorry, it's just fair. And it may hurt and it may not come out cute. It may not be hot and it may not be sexy. But I think that it was fair for her to say, now I'm just trusting everything. Now I'm looking back at all of the yeses. I'm looking back at all of the no's. I'm looking at all of the promises. I'm looking at everything you said about yourself. And now I don't know what's real and what's not anymore because you lied about something that was very simple to just say, hey, I am going to continue to talk to her. We don't have no problems. If it's a real big issue or you feel like it's an issue with me talking to her too much, taking too many of her Instagram DMs or whatever, then let's talk about it then. Sometimes you gotta be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it just is what it is. Y'all grown women and grown men, y'all know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you gotta be comfortable with that. So they end up having a conversation because he wants her to go on this dumb trip, right? That means a lot to him. And she said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. He's basically saying that, this is going to really be detrimental to our relationship. And she's like, then let's just go ahead on. She was like, well, then let's just go ahead on and be done with this. Because I don't like concerts. He was highly offended when she said that she did not like concerts. Boy, if you don't sit down. She said, I don't want to go on a 7 day trip with a whole bunch of noise in my ear. I don't want to do that. That's not something that I want to do. He's saying, this is my whole entire life. I like concerts. I like this. She doesn't. She basically needs words of affirmation, but you wouldn't even write the vows and affirm the woman. So if you don't sit your raggedy ass down, he's not giving anything, but he wants to take things away. He says, he says he says he views himself going out and dancing and like hanging out with friends. And those kind of things are a part of him. That's what he really loves. They had gotten to the point where they were arguing with each other, cutting each other off. She was snapping his sock, as she should have. He wants a puppet on the string. And he has found out that no matter how giggly she is and how much she enjoys his company, she ain't going for the okey doke. She wants her own life, and she does not want to have to feel like every time he turns around with an idea that she has to go for it. He's sitting up there getting teary eyed and all this old bull crap. Boy, ain't nobody got that to do. Grow up. We having a conversation. What the are you acting like this for? I am not going to a 7 day break. I time to do that. So then he goes on, which I noted in my notes, and I got so many notes I shouldn't have did them like this. But he basically equated going out and doing his fun stuff with him going to her cycling class. Her cycling class is her job. Her working out at the gym is her job. This that you want to do is pleasure. And I was like, the audacity for nobody in the room to realize that he is talking about apples and oranges. When you came to my class and you were on a spin bike, you were at my place of employment. This is apple and oranges. Mother, Megan and Derek do an ice bath, and I think that they are very boring. Unfortunately, I think they're very boring. Um, in episode 10, we discovered that the two of them are pregnant, and they decide that we're pregnant, but we ain't telling nobody nothing. He don't like her either, but now he's stuck with her. The two of them can't communicate with her. So we go back to these two. Josh is still forcing Jalen to do everything he wants. Compromise or something I think is hard for me to digest is because he said this is something he really enjoys and he would love for her to experience that with him. Um, but at the same time, she wants to be able to have that freedom and find out how to deal with him. when he started talking about, we get a little deeper into the conversation when he starts talking about this thing that he wants to go on, the Burning Man, okay, is where he wants to go. He says, I don't think I'm worried about that. Like, as long as you're not upset about me not wanting to go to the Burning Man, she said, I find myself being able to really let it go. He says, I think all I could ask for is that you would give me a chance to go, right? Because this is his passion. And he said it's not like something excites him for 45 minutes. She says it's not like you coming to my spin class for 45 minutes. You talking about a 7-day camp. So Will and Rhonda and Pat are in the car. They are driving. Um, she is talking to him. He's trying to hear what she is saying, but he can't process it all. Rhonda says she's been feeling very frustrated, feeling like he's not curious about her. She said her grandfather died when my mom was 5, or my Uncle Joe or somebody promised his dad that he would stay and help take care of me and the girls. So that was her dad. He used to dress up. We used to dress up in the closet in the uncle room, and Randy was rummaging around in there when they found this entire box of a tie box of them little magazines and stuff like that, right? And Pat just so happened to say that was pretty common to find a big stack in the trunk and the foot of the bed. Rhonda gets mad because he didn't remember or hear about how long it was ago that her dad had passed. And I wrote, Rhonda is horrific. She's going into this long, drawn out story about her family, her dad, and all of that, because she likes to go to the gravesite to go and see the father. Pat was, got distracted. They got distracted somehow. And Pat was like, well, that was real common for them, to have those little magazines and stuff like that around. Honey, she went off. And Pat flat out, she said, I don't feel like you recognize that I'm trying the best I can. Do you want me to be open with you? But then you shut me down. And he said, and I don't want to say anything. Because if I say something or I contribute to the conversation, then you're mad. Exactly. The man was trying to drive in all that traffic. Rhonda needs therapy to process her stuff before considering a relationship. It's not fair. Right, poor Pat. The thing about it is, Pat is just like he's trying to engage. He's trying to bring his mind back to what she was saying. He asks for something, and she go off on him, and he can't bring up and talk about anything. Like if I'm having a conversation with you, okay, so like Ray Della. Ray Della travels. She travels all the time. She's a jet setter. Her ass don't never sit down. Raydella and I are having a conversation. She brings up a trip to Hawaii. So I was supposed to just listen to Raydella's whole conversation about Hawaii and don't say about it. I'm not supposed to say, oh, I've been there. Where'd you stay? Oh, okay. Well, I stayed at XYZ. That's a conversation. She just wants to talk. And she don't want Pat to say anything. Pat was like, look, let me pull up over because this is getting on my nerve now. Write an ebook. Sit there and talk to yourself Record it and create an ebook. If you don't want anybody to say something, just talking to the recorder. It'll listen. But the man is talking about, it's not like, I could see if Pat was changing the whole conversation. She's talking about her dad. She's talking about these magazines. And then, he starts talking about going to the amusement park. Those don't go together. But if he's talking about the same thing and just talking about his experience, then that's a conversation. That's dialogue. It's stupid. He said she got mad because he didn't remember or hear about how long it was ago that the father passed away. He says, I feel like I am constantly under evaluation. She goes, talking about, thanks for sharing that. I know it's not easy for you. I apologize for making you feel like I'm scolding you. He definitely told her you scolding me. She said that wasn't her intention. No, that's your intention. Your intention is to check him every time you think he ain't listening. Rhonda, stop with the bullshit. So he says, hold on, y'all, let me go to my notes. He says, I didn't hear what you were saying, but also I have had this feeling where I do feel like you're testing me to see if I understand what happened. And she said, I apologize, but it's not the first time when I've been in the middle of sharing a very vulnerable moment, and I don't feel you were present and actually hearing me. And she said that has happened multiple times now. So that time really did upset her. Well, all the other times really upset her too. Okay. She says she's in the process of trying to improve, and you're helping me grow, and I appreciate that. Because he pulled over. He said, I don't want to feel like I'm just marking time. And I don't want time, we don't have a lot of years, and we're almost halfway through our lives. And I want to make every day count. He said he just don't want to feel like he going through the motions with her bitch ass. She said, well, thank you for talking to me. That makes me feel a lot better. Girl, bye. Brit and Will. I wish they would just quit this whole process. Just quit. Just be done with that. Poof, be gone. Because this is such a combative relationship. It gets on my motherfucking nerves. The way that they talk past each other, over each other, under each other is sickening. Will simply does not like Brittany. Brittany is saying, I'm not his person. Every fiber in her fucking body is telling her, I'm not that girl for him. But she is trying to fight through this experiment instead of going with her sixth sense, saying what it is that she feels, and being done with this relationship. I don't need him to walk away. I will. And if this makes me a failure, okay. Okay. You win some, you lose some. But what did I learn? They are sickening together. Will says that there are no issues in the relationship. Britt does not know where he stands with her, though. Will says he will say yes now, but he doesn't know about the future because she asked him if you were to, if this was, which I think is stupid of her. Look, girl, yes, overkill. Will says, she asked him every day, if today was decision day, would you say yes? If today was decision day, would you say yes? If today was decision day, what would you say? That is worse. It's not decision day. And I don't feel like answering that question every goddamn day when I get up in the morning. I don't want to hear that bullshit. Stop it already. She says, he says, you asked me if I'm going to say yes for sure. What do you think? So she says, it makes her feel uneasy. They sit down with the daggone experts just to find out that she's insecure. She needs verbal confirmation. This stuff goes back to the five love languages. What is your love language and how do you love a person if your love language is the opposite? Your love language is not for you, it's for the other person in order to figure out how to love you. But if the person has never had an experience of having quality time or understanding how to show that you are operating in that love language of quality time, you're going to miss it because that's not the way that you receive love. You may receive love like Will through touch, quality time. He don't care if you're arguing or what, because if you're arguing, then he's gonna pull you in for that touch that he needs. But Brittany doesn't need that. She needs words of affirmation. She needs him to affirm her. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like I said earlier, you don't need nobody to affirm you if you affirm yourself. They going out there, they playing tennis with Megan and Derek, or pickleball or whatever the hell they was playing, and he's nonchalant because he's a very nonchalant individual. He don't care about anything, and she gonna sit out there on the court and have an argument with him. She could see that Derek and Megan are uncomfortable with it. She steady got it going. First of all, if you having a confrontation or a conversation that's a little rough with your partner, you don't do it in front of other people. I cannot stand people who have public disagreements. I cannot stand people who publicly chastise one another. I cannot stand people who publicly do stuff like that. I cannot stand it. I think it's utterly disrespectful and unnecessary. They said that Will always has a rebuttal, but they must be vulnerable. Will pulls her in and shows his emotion through touch. Bullshit. If touch ain't my love language, don't touch me. You're gonna have an issue. They don't know how to communicate with each other because Will is not feeling it for her. Will has already said, see, I always say when I'm out here with y'all, when we out here together and we spending our time with each other, I always say that you have to listen to what is being said. Not what you want to hear, not what you think you hear, but what a person says. People will drop breadcrumbs based on how they feel about a situation every day of your life, especially when you are in relationships. When a mother say, I don't know, everything going right now, but I don't know how it's going to come later on. I heard what you just said. So now I got to process that with everything that I have in my database. So now I have to become a computer. Y'all listen to me. I'm telling you, this is how I navigate relationships. We have an internal database based on things that we have gone through in our lives. Hear me, that we can tap into to recognize where we are with a person, place, or a thing. If I have gone into someone's home at the age of 16 years old and there was a lot of bickering and fighting and turmoil in that home, that was at 16. I am now getting familiar, or that is an entry into my database to say, Auntie, when this kind of situation is happening, this is how you feel when you're uncomfortable and you need to leave. So when that same situation or something similar comes up at the age of 30, I'm in a situation, in a space where I get that same feeling that I had when I was 16. That is my database, me going in my database, pulling up historical data to say, if you don't get your black side of here, something about to go down. There is a sixth sense that women have automatically that men don't, where we are more sensitive to things than men are every day of the week. When Will is saying these buzzwords, well, I don't know. Well, I don't feel comfortable. Well, you need to tell me. But then when I tell you, you don't make a safe space for me. Now I need to go on my database because everything happens for a reason or a season. Now, whether or not you continue to go through these seasons and these reasons is up to you. But you got a built-in database that you've already have to tap into without asking anybody to say, up, when I hear these words, these are buzzwords, they're familiar. Let me go to my database. Let me pull up my history with this. Her history with this is saying, I'm not his person. I'm not his person. Because love isn't hard like this. Let me go to Corinthians. Let me pull up the love scriptures. Love is patient, it's kind, it's long suffering, it's not easily irritated. This ain't love. This ain't even like. Because this is how did I feel? Right? The database of your heart, your mind, your spirit, and your soul. This is not how it feels when I'm loved. She is dealing with that right now. And it is making her come off as a insecure and all of that. You know why? Because she is ignoring every freaking piece of data. Every piece of data that's saying this ain't it. She's ignoring it and therefore making everybody around them miserable. Now people have to pick sides. They have to make excuses. While Rhonda and Pat is down at the gravesite. She knows that this is not her man. She wants this to happen because she's had so many firsts. The first time she's brought a man in her home. He went to go and have dinner with her family. The first time she's brought a man around her family. Her mother and everybody's giddy. The pressure's on her. Now, the first time she's kissed a man, they've ever seen her kiss a man. All these firsts with Will. But I'm going to tell you, it'll be my first and my last. Because your heart ain't going to lie. Your heart, when coupled with your intelligence, when you're really coupled, when everything is functioning in your body, you get clear direction. Y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all, I have learned this over my years. You get clear directions. And she's getting it. She's just ignoring it. I don't know if it's the pressure of the show, the pressure of being married. There's nothing he likes about her, from her hair that's shedding all over the place to those pink, nasty, cheap looking fingernails she got on. He doesn't like her. And frankly, I don't think she likes him either. I don't think she likes him either. I think she wants it to work. Because one thing about us as women, when we have come to a certain level of success, we don't want to, because that's going to tear us down. And when he did not appreciate her home and value the struggle that she had to struggle through with the loss of her sister during COVID and all of that. Then we got Megan and Derek, the two of them, like I said, they've said that they're pregnant. They didn't want anybody to know. They all are at the couples retreat. The two of them get there early. They want the best room, and then they set everybody up, but then they get mad at the end when they throw balloons. The couples get together and throw balloons on them. But of course, everything is centered around Will and Brittany and their complicated, dumb relationships. It's okay, boo. Okay. Absolutely, they need to break up. That's what it is, G Debo. And I think it's a lot of pressure probably from the producers, right, for them to make it to the end, because when people quit, it's not as exciting as when they get to the decision day and say yes or no. At the end of the day, this is a production. It is a show. Y'all let me know downtown in the comment section. This is the end of my review. I know there's probably so much that I've left on and off the table. But we will talk about it. I just feel sorry for her because she's miserable in this relationship with him. And when it is sad when you want something to really work, like you really wanted to work with every fiber of your being, and it's just not working. Like it's not working. Will doesn't like her, and that's on period. I think that Jalen is falling back from Josh, and I think that she's really going to see who he is in this relationship between the two of them. Um, Megan, as we saw from this episode, and I think a preview of the next, she says we don't have to be together to raise a baby, and that's absolutely true. And I'm glad that Megan is at that place. I know some people probably don't like it, but I think that she has to be at that place. The two of them were, they got pregnant. They didn't take the safety precautions. He wants 3 kids. She's afraid of having one. Been there, done that. Understand her as a woman. But she doesn't have to be with him. I don't believe that he loves Megan. I think that he is working through it, right? He's doing better than Will. But I don't think that there's a real true connection with him and Megan, because he feels like he has to always compromise, and he's got to be the one to step back. And even when she got mad and came out and he was touching her and she said, Will knows how to bring me in. Girl, ain't nobody got to learn. Like, you got to be a responsible adult with your feelings. I have learned over the time period, and y'all let me know downtown in the chat. When you watch people who are in relationships with one another, and they've been in relationship with each other for years, and they're not married, what are we doing? Especially when you're a Christian. You need to be getting married or cut the relationship off. I've been seeing people talk about, yeah, we've been together 2, 3, 4 years. Like, what? You know within months whether or not you're compatible with somebody. And this is a sped up process where you living together. I don't like him. I don't see me doing it with them. I just don't. I hope that, when they decide that they're not going to be together anymore, I hope that it is not really, really bad, right? And it plays out all on social media and stuff like that. Hey, boo. Hey, sweetie. But we'll see. But that's it for me for tonight, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. I truly do appreciate y'all coming in to this old lady. If I think of anything else, maybe I'll do a little video, but I got a lot of content that is coming. I had already scheduled a video for us to talk about the TikToker who has been calling churches to see whether or not these churches are going to give to a woman who has allegedly a starving baby. This is a social experience. Y'all have got to join me. I was going to do it tonight, but it's 9:35 and I am very, very tired. But I promise I'll be back out tomorrow. Of course, again, as I said, I know that some of you all are waiting for me to do the 90-day fiance. I will be doing that. I don't know whether or not I'm going to be live with it or if I'm just going to do a simple video. Y'all let me know that downtown in the comment section too. But I really do appreciate y'all staying here and hanging out with an old woman like myself. Also, I am going to be doing a video on catching up with Letitia and Keith from Love After Lockup. I do want to say that I will not be talking about the other incident, although I know what is going on. I will not be talking about the incident with Auntie and his girlfriend Abby. And you know what? I got some things I need to say to the members about that. Thank you, sugar. I'm going to get my rest. Thank you, boo. Make sure you got your notifications on, Bookie. You saw what? Send it to me, sugar, in my Instagram. Send it to me in my Instagram. Thank y'all. Please make sure that y'all give a big old shout out to Ray Della. Ray Della be here damn near every video and got a whole life. But when she sees that notification bell come on, she comes on. So y'all, please, when you get an opportunity, shout out Ray Della. Okay, just shout her out. Okay, what you was talking about, boo boo? TT is just talking about the woman who unalived. Huh? Oh, yesterday. Thank you, boo. I'll make sure I link the videos. Anyway, y'all, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. But I love y'all so much. Y'all, please, until we meet again, I need y'all to be safe in the street and in the water. And now I need y'all to be safe downtown to the car. I love y'all. Bye.